When Karim Hassan saw an elderly woman drop her wallet, he immediately ran after her to return it. But Margaret, terrified, screamed, "Help! I'm being robbed." People around turned on Karim. Some tried to stop him. Others called the police. Holding the wallet up, Karim pleaded, "I just want to give it back." But no one believed him. He waited calmly until the police arrived, handed over the wallet, and left quietly. Later that evening, he found Margaret's address inside and went to her house. When she opened the door and saw her missing wallet in his hand, the fear on her face turned to shock, then shame. You weren't a thief?" She stammered. In that moment, Margaret realized what prejudice had made her do, and Karim showed how integrity can shatter every false assumption. Before the story begins, drop a comment. Which city are you watching from? And if you believe in justice and equality, share this story and subscribe, because together, our voices are stronger. The November afternoon in Manhattan carried that particular crispness that made everything feel sharper, clearer. Karim Hassan walked along Fifth Avenue, his delivery bag empty after completing his last order of the day. At 22, he'd been in America for 3 years, having fled Syria after his family was killed in the bombing of their neighborhood in Aleppo. Working as a food delivery cyclist, Karim logged 12-hour days, 6 days a week, every dollar carefully saved toward his dream of attending community college. He'd taught himself English through YouTube videos and library books, practiced with kind strangers, and slowly built a life from nothing. America had given him safety, opportunity, and hope, 3 things he'd lost in the rubble of his homeland. Ahead of him, an elderly white woman exited Bergdorf Goodman, her arms laden with shopping bags. She was perhaps in her late 60s, well-dressed in a camel wool coat and pearl earrings, moving with the careful precision of someone whose bones had grown fragile with age. As she adjusted her bags to check her phone, Karim saw something fall from her purse, a brown leather wallet hitting the pavement with a soft thud. "Madam." "Excuse me, madam," Karim called out, quickening his pace. "Your wallet." The woman, Margaret Wilson, though Karim didn't know her name yet, turned at the sound of his voice. Her eyes took in Karim's appearance in an instant. Dark skin, thick accent, worn clothes, and the urgency in his movement as he bent to retrieve her fallen wallet. Her reaction was immediate and visceral, her face contorted with fear, her shopping bags dropping as she clutched her purse tighter to her chest. "Get away from me," she screamed, her voice shrill with panic. "Help! Someone help! I'm being robbed." Karim froze, the wallet in his hand, confusion and hurt flashing across his face. "No, madam, I'm just thief, terrorist. Someone call the police." Margaret's voice rose higher, genuine terror making her words come out in gasps. She stumbled backward, nearly falling in her panic to get away from him. The crowded Manhattan sidewalk reacted instantly. A businessman in an expensive suit stepped between Karim and Margaret, his stance protective and aggressive. "Back off, buddy. Leave her alone." "I'm not," Karim began, holding up the wallet to show he was just trying to return it. "He's got her wallet," someone shouted. "Grab him." 2 more men moved toward Karim, forming a barrier. A woman pulled out her phone, already dialing 911. The crowd's energy shifted from individual strangers to a unified mob, all focused on the young Middle Eastern man who must be the threat. "Everyone please, listen." Karim's English, usually adequate, fractured under pressure and fear. She dropped. "I am only trying to give back." "Sure you were," a man spat. "Likely story. You people are always running some scam." Margaret was crying now, supported by a woman who'd rushed to her side. "He was chasing me. I saw him running after me. Oh God, I thought he was going to hurt me." Karim felt the familiar weight of being instantly judged, immediately guilty, automatically threatening. His accent, his appearance, his very existence in this space marked him as dangerous. He'd felt this before. The way people clutched their bags tighter when he walked past, the way security guards followed him in stores, the suspicious glares on the subway. But this was different. This was public, aggressive, and terrifying. "I did not chase." Karim said carefully, trying to keep his voice calm despite his racing heart. I saw a wallet fall. I pick up to return. This is all. I am honest person. Right. The businessman said sarcastically. An honest thief. That's a new one. The crowd was getting larger, phones out, some recording, others just watching the spectacle of a young Arab man being confronted by good Samaritans protecting an elderly white woman. The narrative was already written in their minds. Predator and victim, threat and protector. Please, Karim said, desperation creeping into his voice. Look in wallet. Nothing is missing. I take nothing. You can check. Don't let him near it. Margaret shrieked. He probably already took the cash. These people, they're so quick, you never see them do it. These people. The words hung in the air like an accusation of guilt by ethnicity. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Karim's stomach dropped. Police meant questions, suspicion, possibly detention. His immigration status was legal. He had refugee status. But the fear was instinctive and learned from stories of others in his community who'd been treated as guilty until proven innocent. Two NYPD officers pushed through the crowd, hands near their weapons, eyes immediately fixing on Karim as the obvious subject of the disturbance. What's going on here? The first officer, a white man in his 40s, asked, though his gaze never left Karim. Multiple voices started speaking at once, creating a cacophony of accusation. He stole her wallet. He was chasing her. She was screaming for help. He's got the wallet right there in his hand. Officers, Karim said carefully, knowing that any sudden movement could be interpreted as threatening. Please, I can explain. This lady dropped her wallet. I picked it up to return to her. That is all. The second officer, a black woman who seemed more measured in her assessment, looked at the wallet in Karim's hand, then at Margaret's tear-stained face, then back at Karim. Sir, can you put the wallet down slowly and step back? Karim complied immediately, placing the wallet on the ground and moving several steps away, hands visible. The female officer picked up the wallet and opened it, examining the contents. Ma'am, is this your wallet? Yes. Margaret sobbed. He stole it from my purse. I felt him grab it. Ma'am, the officer said gently. Did you actually feel someone take your wallet, or did you see this man with your wallet? Margaret hesitated, the distinction suddenly important. I saw him running toward me with it. He was chasing me. He must have taken it. Ma'am, I'm going to check the contents with you. Can you tell me what should be in here? As Margaret listed items, the officer verified each one: driver's license, credit cards, insurance cards, family photos, and cash. How much cash should be here? $8,500, Margaret said quietly. I just withdrew it from the bank. It's the down payment for a new apartment. A murmur went through the crowd. That was a lot of cash to be carrying. The officer counted carefully, aware that the crowd was watching, that phones were recording, that this moment would determine whether a young man was arrested or vindicated. Ma'am, there's $8,500 here. All present and accounted for. Margaret's face registered confusion. But he had my wallet. Ma'am, Karim spoke up, his voice respectful but firm. I saw a wallet fall from your bag when you check your phone. I try to tell you to give back. I run to catch you before you go far. I do not steal. My religion, my conscience, they do not allow this. The female officer looked at Karim carefully. Where are you from, sir? Syria. I am refugee. Here 3 years. I work for DoorDash, delivery food. He gestured to his bike secured nearby, the large delivery bag still strapped to it. I finish work, walking home. I see wallet fall. Only this. The crowd was beginning to shift, discomfort replacing certainty. Several people lowered their phones. The aggressive certainty that had unified them against Karim was fracturing under the evidence that maybe, just maybe, they'd gotten this wrong. Ma'am, the officer addressed Margaret again. Is it possible you dropped your wallet and didn't realize it? That this young man was actually trying to return it to you? Margaret looked at Karim, really looked at him for the first time. Saw the hurt in his eyes, the exhaustion in his posture, the worn but clean clothes of someone working hard to build a life. Saw not a terrorist or a thief, but a young man who'd tried to do a kind thing and been treated like a criminal. She started, her voice breaking. I thought. You thought because I am Arab, I am thief, Karim said quietly, the words carrying more sadness than anger. You see my face, my skin, and you decide who I am before I speak. You do not see that I work hard, that I am honest, that I only want to help. Tears began rolling down Margaret's face, but these were different tears, not fear, but shame. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Oh God, I'm so sorry. The officer looked at the businessman who'd confronted Karim. And you, sir? Did you actually see a theft occur, or did you just see what you expected to see? The man's aggressive posture deflated. I heard her screaming. I thought. I was trying to help. By assuming the brown man was the criminal, the officer asked pointedly. By not even asking what actually happened before you decided he was guilty. The crowd was dispersing now. People suddenly eager to be elsewhere, to not be associated with what was becoming clearly apparent. A public display of racial profiling, of prejudice masquerading as protection. Margaret approached Karim hesitantly, her wallet clutched in her shaking hands. I am so deeply sorry. I was wrong. So terribly, horribly wrong. Karim looked at her, this woman who'd been so quick to fear him, so ready to believe the worst. He could walk away. He had every right to walk away and leave her with her guilt. But instead, he said, you are not bad person. You are scared person. Fear makes us see things that are not true. I understand this. In Syria, I also was scared all the time. Fear makes us forget to see humanity in each other. Margaret's sob was broken and painful. You're being kind to me. After what I did to you. After I called you. After I said those terrible things. Because this is who I am, Karim said simply. This is who my parents taught me to be before they died. Being hurt does not mean I must hurt back. Understanding this is how I stay human. The female officer closed her notepad. Mr. Hassan, you're free to go. I apologize for the disturbance. You did a good thing today. As Karim started to leave, Margaret called out. Wait. Please wait. She fumbled in her wallet, pulling out several bills. Please, let me give you a reward. You saved me. That money is everything I have. If I'd lost it. No. Karim's voice was firm. I do not want money for being honest. Honesty is not for sale. This is normal, how people should be. Then at least let me buy you dinner, Margaret insisted. Please. I need to understand. I need to learn. Karim hesitated, exhausted from the confrontation, wanting only to go home. But something in Margaret's face, genuine remorse, real desire to change, made him nod. Okay, we can talk. They sat in a small diner on 47th Street, an unlikely pair. The elderly white woman who'd been raised to fear people who looked different, and the young Syrian refugee who'd been taught that kindness transcended borders. I was raised in Texas, Margaret began, her coffee untouched before her. My father worked in oil. He used to say terrible things about Arabs, about Muslims. He said they were all terrorists, all dangerous, all out to destroy America. I grew up hearing those things every day until they became truth to me. She looked at Karim with red-rimmed eyes. Even after September 11th, even after everything I read about refugees, about the crisis in Syria, about innocent people suffering, I still held on to my father's words. I still looked at people like you and saw threat instead of humanity. And now, Karim asked quietly, now I see that I've been blind, Margaret said, her voice thick. You could have taken that money. You could have walked away. God knows you had every reason to, after how I treated you. But you didn't. You tried to help, and I repaid your kindness with hatred and fear. Karim stirred sugar into his tea, collecting his thoughts. In Syria, before war, my father owned a restaurant. Every Friday, he cooked meals for anyone who was hungry, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, anyone. He said to me, Karim, humanity has no religion, no nationality. Hungry person is hungry person. Sad person is sad person. We help because we are human, not because we are Syrian or Muslim or anything else. His voice grew thick with emotion. My father died helping neighbors escape bombing. He could have run, saved himself, but he went back for old couple who could not move fast. The building collapsed on all of them. Margaret covered her mouth, tears flowing freely now. Karim, I'm so sorry. I'm so incredibly sorry, not just for today, but for every day I've carried this prejudice, for every time I've looked at someone like you and made assumptions, for being part of the problem instead of part of the solution. You can choose different now, Karim said. Today you learn something. Tomorrow you can be better. This is all we can do. Learn and be better. Margaret reached across the table, and after a moment, Karim allowed her to take his hand. Will you teach me? Will you help me understand? I want to be better, but I don't know how. Over the next hour, Karim shared his story, the terror of fleeing Syria, the refugee camps, the impossible hope of resettlement, the challenges of building life in America, the daily navigation of prejudice and suspicion. Margaret listened, really listened, her assumptions crumbling with each word. I volunteer at my church, Margaret said finally. We have a refugee resettlement program, but I've never participated. I was afraid. I told myself it was because I was too old to be useful, but really, I was just scared of people I didn't understand. She looked at Karim with determination. I'm going to change that. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to learn. And I'm going to tell everyone what happened today, not to make myself look good, but to show them what happens when we let fear and prejudice blind us to the humanity of others. Karim smiled, the first genuine smile since the ordeal began. This is good. This is how change happens. One person, one story, one choice at a time. As they parted, Margaret hugged Karim tightly. You gave me back more than my wallet today. You gave me back my humanity. 3 months later, Margaret was the most active volunteer in her church's refugee program, hosting Syrian families, helping with English lessons, and telling anyone who would listen about the young man who'd taught her that prejudice was a choice and kindness was a responsibility. And Karim continued his work, saving for college, helping others when he could, carrying forward his father's legacy of seeing humanity first and everything else second. Sometimes justice comes not through punishment, but through transformation. Sometimes the best response to hatred is patience and the quiet insistence on being kind despite having every reason not to be. And sometimes, one wallet dropped on a Manhattan sidewalk becomes the catalyst that cracks open hearts closed by fear and opens them to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, we're all more human than we are anything else.